Greetings, my fellow freedom low sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning in to LL3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today's date is Thursday, November 5th, 2020. I am just laughing. They're still delaying the votes. They're still doing a whole runaround. And one state like Arizona claimed that Biden won, and the governor said it was premature. More ballot stuffing went overnight. Was it last night? Early last night in Wisconsin, in town of Wisconsin. Good grief! They dropped it right in their mailbox. Unbelievable. This is why I do have to agree with President Trump about the mail-in ballots, because the way he explained it was outsourcing. Where did I get those clarifications in there? I vote on absentee myself and deliver right to them. The funny thing about it, because my polling place is like other side, like about a mile away. I'm like, hell, I'm right near the supervisor elections office. I could drop it off. I'm like right across the river. Totally insane. And the sad thing about it too, because remember, there's a lot of propositions out there as well that state and local stuff can be affected. It's very disturbing indeed. Trying to get too distracted in this. I agree. I'm disturbed about myself. I'm not too surprised. It's like Athens, Tennessee 2.0. Because it happened during the 1940s. They've been like ballot tampering or voter fraud. And of course, they had the big battle on that. The Battle of Athens, Tennessee was on August 1st, 2nd, 1946. Yeah, Athens, Tennessee 2.0. And even Washington, D.C. passed a bill that they could inoculate children at a consent of 11 years old without parental approval. That tells you something. They're going to tell you now, the 11-year-old kids, you are smarter than what your parents are. Huh. Pretty damn disgusting, I would say. Blasphemy 101. And, so I did my vote and all that, and some of the things I supported won, and others I was very disappointed. And especially even with the sheriff's office, which I know Gregory Tony was in it for a year and a half anyway. But there's things I'm not too keen with. A sheriff's job is to protect the rights of all Broward County residents, not bellying up to the bureaucrat Bertha Tyrant Henry. Okay? He has the power to do a lot of things, but he's just playing yes man. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. To these knuckleheads. And of course, Dean Trandilis won. And the funny thing about that, according to the Sun Sentinel, they did a pay raise. So Dean Trandilis and Commissioner Steve Glassman and the entire commissions almost doubled their money. I think it's a little bit more, double their money. Of course, that's according to the Sun Sentinel. I've read that article. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's like from $39,000 to like $89,000 for the mayor. Good grief. And of course you got people, oh yeah, I voted yes on the minimum wage. Well, you know what? You just declared yourselves mercantilists. I understand some sides, people about cost of living and all that. I'm not condemning it. But one, you got government knows best. And two, you're going to be punishing the small businesses. And some people can't even answer that question. How are you going to benefit the whole scenario? How both sides are going to benefit from this? You can't even answer that. I don't care about the CEOs. I'm talking about small businesses. And there's a couple of them right around here. You heard music in the background. Outside of the Fort Lauderdale City Park, Mr. Nick's shop, located at 108 Southeast 1st Street in heart of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, right across from the library, which they actually opened up yesterday. And they have the whole COVID-19 conditions and all that. So, and it's really lot of more of a complete I don't say turn off, but it's a lot more quieter. I'll give you that. But yeah, you can hit MrNickSubs.com on that. So I'll be right back. So stay tuned. Got the hiccups there. Yeah, so one of those, like I said, is one of those areas, and I just get a big kick out of it. The truth of the matter is, folks, there's a lot of tampering going on with the ballots, election fraud, or whatever you want to call it, and they believe the people are that completely stupid. It's getting too obvious. I ain't talking to a person who's not a Trump lover by any means, but I stick to the principles. I vote who I believe is the right person for the job. And many people support Trump. Hey, so be it. Many of them support Biden. A lot of folks give me a good, legitimate reason. Why? Because they hate Trump. That's the big distraction. You don't hate the person directly. If he farts, someone's gonna have if President Trump farts, someone's gonna have big headline news from the Comedy News Network or Fox, whatever you want to call it. All these yippee yappy yahoo stations. Bottom line is this: after it's all over, we still gotta remain vigilant. A lot of things are happening right in front of under our noses. I know there are some disturbances broke out in certain areas around the United States, especially Portland. Portland's always been an issue way before George Floyd's death, okay? Hey, I know that I get information from the actual videos themselves. And I love the whole staging setup they had in Atlanta. Good grief. Fulton County. Okay, all you poll watchers, you gotta leave. I'm like, who the hell you think you are? You got all these stooges out there that believe they're above everybody. It's getting so asinine, it's going to blow back in their faces when least expected. So, do a couple of articles here. This is cute. This came on the Epoch Times. Colorado passes resolution to give electoral votes winner of popular vote. All right, this is by Tom Osmick. Colorado on Tuesday passed a resolution that would mandate awarding all the state's electoral college votes to the winner of the national popular vote. All right. Called Proposition 113 on the ballot measure, which is 52.2% of the vote, according to the Denver Post, making Colorado one of 15 states and the District of Columbia be part of the National Popular Interstate Compact. The agreement, which only goes into effect enough states join up to yield to a total of 270 electoral votes. States require that presidency will be awarded to all the candidates that wins a popular vote across all 50 states and District of Columbia. Currently, a given state's electoral college votes are rewarded to the candidates that receive the most popular votes in that state. Critics of the current winner-take-all agreement argue that it leads to a political landscape in which candidates focus on disproportionate amount of attention and concern of voters in key battleground states, while ignoring flyover country. Advocates of NPVIC could argue that awarding the presidency to the winner of the popular vote is more democratic. Yay, more democratic. Yay! How cute, right? Proponents of the system now in place argue that it's a fair power sharing arrangement between higher population states and lower population states reflects the principle of federalism. While it occasionally leads to an outcome in which a candidate is elected to the White House who didn't win the popular vote, proponents for electoral college reason that it prevents smaller states from being dominated by larger states and ensures that whoever wins the presidency enjoys a measure of a broad-based support across the country. California, New York, Texas, and Florida, Massachusetts would determine every presidential outcome if the NPVIC becomes law, wrote Darlene Casella, an activist with the Federated Republican Women in an op-ed in the Epoch Times, the other 45 states would be powerless. Republican office holders generally favor the current system, with Democrats often portray as seeing the NPVIC as a way to get around Electoral College without the complicated and challenging procedure of amending the Constitution. Frank Monolti, a Republican former state House Speaker who served as an advisor to a group that has opposed the Proposition 113, told the Denver Post that the fact that the resolution passed by a narrow margin indicates that Coloradans are clearly divided on the issue. They were tricked by California billionaires who spent billions of dollars to buy our votes for president, he said. Colorado votes should be decided by Coloradans, and I have to agree. Why got some out-of-state hack trying to tell your jurisdiction how to vote? Remember, they did that with the medical marijuana in Florida, and of course, Donald Trump's sugar daddy, Sheldon Adelson, sent money to Florida to go against it. Why I got to have some guy from Nevada tell people in Florida how to vote? It doesn't work that way. I just give these people a big middle finger. All right? So it goes either way. All right? This is going to reduce Colorado's clout, and it's going to reduce our influence on issues like transportation, water, healthcare, and funding for our military bases. Ray Haynes, who's the head of the Institute for Research on Presidential Elections, defended the NPVIC proposal in an earlier interview with the Epoch Times, saying it is both legitimate and constitutional. He also concerned that the proposal would lead to fraud claimed by some opponents are overblown. First, if critics are concerned about electoral fraud, the criticism is much more prone to a focused fraud in a small area. It is much easier to conceal a localized fraud. Fewer people are involved and fewer fraudulent votes are needed to completely change the outcome of an entire presidential election. For Colorado's non-electoral votes, the NPVIC initiative now has 126 electoral votes, needing another 74, it could enter into force. And this is very dangerous. Very dangerous. Because here's the thing with Colorado and all the other states in the Union. You're going to have a place that's mostly populated, give them more power than the rural areas. There's no balance. There's what these dinkleberries want you to believe. Some people made some good points. It should be, electoral college votes should be based on their certain districts. And take it from there. And that's fair enough. Now, it won't be perfect. But the problem is this, folks. A lot of these people are for this whole national popular vote. They're looking for an elected king or Lord and Savior rather than an elected ambassador. What is the president's main job? One of them, I'll give you at least two. One, he's foreign policy commander-in-chief. That's at least two. Look up Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution, self-explanatory. But in due time, all these knuckleheads gave people in the Congress, gave the president more power, over a presidential overreach. That's why we got separation of powers in this constitutional republic. Well, of course, people want to say we're a democracy. Where in the Constitution says we are? You can't find it. The whole thing is very deceptive indeed. That's why I'm against all these things. And you know what? I didn't vote on that. Who the hell voted? If it happened to Florida, I didn't vote on it. When was it voted on? That's something people are going to need to look at. I got to find out when was it voted on. So, in Florida, just in case they did it or not. Well, I'm going to do one more here. COVID bill loaded with goodies for illegals. This is from the American Free Press, which if I post it on Facebook, they will say it violates community guidelines. Wow, Facebook loves to tell people what to post, what they can't post, as long as it has some information. As long as when it comes to information. All right, I'm gonna read on here. This is by Mark Anderson. Four Republican senators recently wrote to Congressional Budget Office (CBO) Director Philip Swago seeking an analysis for the Languishing Heroes Act, another massive federal legislative package intended to provide additional direct payments to U.S. citizens and spur overall economic recovery to counteract COVID-19's impact in terms of its cost to taxpayers. The Health and Economic Recovery Omnibus Emergency Solution Act carries an estimated price tag of $2.2 trillion. It's our money away. Federal Reserve, to give us more money, print it up. Beep, 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 boom. No go. Oh, hell to fiat currency, correct? Absolutely. The Senator's core concern is that the bill, H.R. 6800, which received a final passage by the House on a vote of 208 to 199 in the evening of May 15th, but had a relatively slim chance of Senate action at press time, will provide jobs, government handouts, and free health care to illegal aliens. Yay! Come on, trespassers! We'll cater to you. You could be whiter as me with the same last name. Breitbart News has called this legislation effective amnesty for millions of illegal aliens who can avoid deportation because they can be deemed to be working in critical infrastructure jobs. In some agricultural sectors, such as harvesting crops, that may be true, of course, depending on the time of year. However, while the legislation reportedly has broad parameters for defining the word critical, its critics maintain the legislation, if signed into law, would enable businesses to hire cheaper illegal aliens for scarce U.S. jobs, even as tens of millions of American citizens remain unemployed, underemployed, or out of the labor force entirely amid about 9 months of government-induced slowdowns and shutdowns of the economy over the pandemic that is being eyed for a record-setting tort lawsuit. The senators who wrote the letter to the CBO are Tom Tillis, Republican from North Carolina, Johnny Ernst, Republican from Iowa, Kelly Loeffler, Republican from Georgia, and Mike Lee, Republican from Utah. It's time the American people have a fuller understanding of exactly how much Speaker Nancy Pelosi's policies will cost them, the senators wrote. While we have estimates of how much H.R. 6800 may cost in total, we believe Congress must know the cost of the specific provisions providing benefits to illegal immigrants. And remember, don't pull a Nancy Pelosi. We have to pass it first before we read it. Twilight Zone. Okay, this woman, she needs to have a flag up, an outfit of Bizarro every time she walks in the room. The senators stressed in the letter that by not requiring individuals to have a Social Security number, potentially millions of illegal aliens will be able to claim a stimulus payment. How many illegal immigrants will be able to claim payments under this provision? What will cost of such payments to the American taxpayer? Finally, if provisions were in place to prevent payments to illegal immigrants, how much additional money could be provided to an individual American citizen by virtue of these savings? The nonprofit organization Numbers USA, which opposes illegal immigration, not immigration, but illegal, so don't call them racist, issued a press release on the senator's letter in which it states, mass immigration has proven direct impacts on the nation's working and middle class who are forced to compete for U.S. jobs with millions of newly arrived illegal aliens and even more illegal immigrants every year. Though the big business lobby and corporate interests claim that the labor pool must be expanded to provide them with a never-ending flow of foreign workers in their efforts to continue to address GDP growth. More than 50 million Americans today remain unemployed, underemployed, or out of the labor force. They'll all want full-time jobs. President Donald Trump's agenda, opposed by big business and corporate lobbyists, has sought to tighten the U.S. labor market through increased immigration enforcement and an overall decrease in employment-based immigration, which in return has delivered jobs and higher wages. which have not increased since the late 1970s, working and middle class Americans. In contrast, the initial legislative package to offset the effects of COVID-19, the approximately $2 trillion CARES Act, that was signed into law March 27th, which provided $1,200 to the individual U.S. citizens and $2,400 to married citizen couples filing jointly, explicitly blocked payments to non-citizens who lack Social Security numbers but file their federal income tax returns using individual tax identification numbers. According to the liberal American Immigration Council, the HEROES Act, however, would provide one-time direct payments to a greater population of low and middle-class families and adults in the United States. The IC added that non-citizens who pay their taxes using ITINs would become eligible for these payments, and the HEROES Act would also extend payments to individual citizens with SSNs who file joint returns with non-citizen spouses who use ITINs. There's going to be a lot of gaps in this case. I'm not too crazy about it, to be very frank. Remember, government's a parasite society. A lot of them are responsible for shutting down. Looks like Massachusetts, they've done their other shutdowns. Now the governor, another fruitcake, pathetic fool. Sorry, just these individuals all believe they're smarter than everybody else because they're in a elected position and we should all kiss the floor they walk on. It's happening not just in Massachusetts, this is everywhere. Worldwide. Look what's going on right now in Europe. Very disturbing indeed. When government knows best, it turns to crap. Okay? I'm not crazy about these things. Yeah, and I support safety nets and all that, but it's getting too much out of hand. Capitalism, open free market capitalism, never made this happen. Okay? And all you little government dependents out there could be activists and not more than Huey and Deweys. You better learn. You better learn to pay your dues before running your mouth. This is pretty disturbing. Okay, $2.2 trillion. It's gonna bite every taxpaying individual in the rear end when you least expect it. No such thing as free money. Never has, never will. And you know what? That will be it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, whatever you do, please send your correspondence to decorum. Furthermore, I'll leave the footnotes, the articles on my Spreaker page. If you want to do a donate, if you want to contact me, you hit me at LookYouLuck3 or LookYouLuck03 at protonmail.com. If you want to do a donation, hit me at paypal.me/LookYouLuck3. I encourage you folks, support sites like American Free Press, Epoch Times, and anyone else out there. True Pundit, doesn't matter. A lot of these people need your support. Without us giving you guys the truth the best you can, we're all probably been into more of a deeper Orwellian state. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.